if getting your ex back is step one, getting them to stay is step two, right? Because you broke up to begin with, there's problems that are there. How are we going to guarantee that those problems don't happen again? Hey, I'm Coach Benny, and I help people get their exes back. And for 5 years, I was a dating coach where I had to pay attention to how to bring people in closer to have that magical effect on them, right? Yeah, so part of this endeavor of getting your ex back, you'd be silly to not consider the idea that, is it even worth it because you guys had problems to begin with? Is it just going to happen all over again? And I think that's a fair question to ask, right? Because if you're not addressing your attachment style issues, if they don't address theirs, if there's not communication skills that get built and conflict resolution skills, like you're basically doomed for failure. So all these questions are only relevant if you can even attract them back, which you can. Just watch my other videos for that. And it's common sense that your ex needs to fix their own stuff on their side of things. But what can you do in the meantime while you're waiting in no contact to do your part to encourage that this thing comes back together and actually stays for the long term? So there's a lot of different clinical, intellectual things that we could say about this. But the most practical, real, street smart answer is that you basically pursue yourself to the best of your ability. What's your deepest hopes, your deepest dreams? How do you make yourself the most secure person possible in this time that you're apart? And you're already having to do that, right? Because you probably want to break down, text them, etc., every single night, and you're having to hold back. So you're starting to exhibit strength in this way. But the things that you need to do, number one, are, okay, what are your biggest insecurities? Write these down. Get honest with yourself, right? And they're going to be deep. They're going to be super deep rooted. It's going to have to do with your identity and why you think you're not good enough. For example, my past insecurities were not being able to fight and not being good with women. Those are deep rooted things that people don't want to admit out to the world, right? But you need to admit this to yourself so that way you can find the corresponding discipline. For me, it was jujitsu and also hollering at a bunch of girls, and go do that stuff. Now, as you become this person that you actually idolize, so you become your own idol, you become infinitely more secure. So there's all these, tactics in relationships that you can use to not trigger the other person and have a more healthy relationship, etc. Cool. But underneath that, what does your foundational confidence look like? And if you take this approach of identifying your insecurities and filling the blanks in with corresponding disciplines that you can invest time in, foundationally, you're going to be the strongest person possible. Now, on top of that, comes all the clinical stuff, right? You need to have communication skills, learn how to listen, repeat back, and confirm understanding before you talk in conflict. And also, understanding your own attachment style and learning how to breathe through the times where you get triggered in conflict. And also learning your ex's attachment style and figuring out the ways that each attachment style triggers each other. But if you take this foundational, street smart approach to increasing your confidence in your own view of yourself, you're going to naturally do a lot of the right behaviors. For example, insecurity and jealousy. Yeah, maybe you've been through some trauma in the past where your ex has cheated on you. But if you truly think that you are the most cool person in the world, you're not going to freak out when some text, some DM, hits your significant other's phone. Why? Because you're their best option, right? You got nothing to worry about. So anyway, if you want to have a discussion about how to get your ex back, but also how can you make them stay, click into my profile, click this link right here, set up a call with me, and I want to hear your story. And also, I'm going to customize a game plan for you to get your ex back.